Welcome to Waywut, your weekly verbal double take. This is a rabbit hole podcast where a couple of old guys do moderate to shallow dives into various topics, ranging from true crime, paranormal, sports, pop culture, or anything else that we find interesting. We drop episodes every Tuesday, and then on Fridays if we feel like it. You can follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram. We appreciate you joining us. Now that we got all this self-promotion stuff out of the way, here.
Why, hello there, and welcome to your weekly verbal double take. My name is Jason, and on this episode, I am taking off my belt with a violent jerk, zipping it through all the belt loops, and making that sound, signaling, "You are fucked," while bringing you another topic that made me say, "Wait, what?" And joining me, bending over the kitchen table, ready for his whooping, is Daryl.
No.
You are ready.
You do not have my consent.
You don't need your consent to give a spanking. It's usually non-consensual.
No, we're both adults. You have to have consent, and that's a no.
We're playing that game, are we?
No.
I'm that a boy.
Dear God.
All right. Well, have you seen that funny video of the dad taking up for his daughter by slapping everyone at a party that keeps walking up to him?
Yeah, it's making fun of that TV show called The Slap, or the miniseries called The Slap, where it was about like how like some guy slapped somebody else's kid, and it turns into this whole thing, and it like ruins everything. And then I think it was College Humor that did it.
Oh, it's super funny.
It is hilarious. Where he just goes around just slapping everybody, and every time somebody stands up to him, he just slaps them. And the cops show up, and he slaps them.
He double slaps them.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there walking around all stiff and just goes, whack. Yes, that's a funny video.
Every time I see it, I laugh my ass off. It's really funny. But the message is, I will do anything to protect my child. And as a parent, that is your number one job. Every day, no excuses. Providing for your child is number 2 on the job list. No matter what the need is, you find a way to provide it. Don't have what they need? You find a way to provide it. Can't afford what they need? You find a way to provide it. Every day, no excuses.
I always tell my kids that my 3 priorities is keep them safe, healthy, and happy in that order.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to sacrifice number 3 for 1 and 2.
Absolutely. So there isn't anything you and I or any parent would do to provide and protect your children. We all know crime is bad, though. Stealing is wrong, violence is unacceptable, and laws exist for a reason. And as a parent, how far do you go to provide and protect? Where do you draw the line? Are laws basically non-existent when it comes to protecting or providing for your child? Are you willing to risk it all? To some parents, the answer is a resounding yes. They would say it was justified to protect or provide for their child. Now I'm going to go over some of these alleged justified crimes, and let's see if you would have done the same thing.
I'm so glad you did this, because I was teetering on the edge of doing this.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, the first example, as part of the most famous example, is the case of Gary Plauché. During the years of 1983 and 1984, his 11-year-old son, Jody, was taking karate lessons with 25-year-old Jeffrey Doucette. During these training sessions, and of course unknown to Jody's parents, Doucette had been sexually abusing Jody. And on Valentine's Day in 1984, Doucette kidnapped Jody and took him to a motel in Anaheim, California, where he continued to do bodily harm to him. Yes. Yeah. And Jody was eventually found after Doucette allowed Jody to place a collect call to his mother from the motel. California police raided the motel and arrested Doucette on the February 29th. Reports show Doucette went without a fight. Okay. March 1st, 1984, Jody was reunited with his family in Louisiana. In a news interview, Plauché stated that after he heard reports that Doucette had
done what he did
to his son, he felt a sense of helplessness and did not know how to deal with the situation. I could concur. I would be very taken back on how to deal with that. It would be very hard. On March 16th, 1994, Doucette was flown back to Louisiana to face trial. He arrived at Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport and was led in handcuffs by police officers through the airport at around 9:30 p.m., where Plauché was waiting for him. And this is the most famous part that people may have seen before. It turns out an employee of the local ABC affiliate, whatever TV, tipped Plauché when Doucette would be arriving at the airport. Like, hey, this guy's going to be here at this time. Just giving you a little heads up. A news crew was waiting for Doucette and had set up their cameras to record his arrival. Opposite the news crew was a bank of payphones, which, if y'all know what payphones are, we actually used to have to pay for our using a phone a long time ago, where Plauché waited while talking to his best friend on a telephone. He wore a baseball cap and sunglasses so that no one would recognize him. Now, as Doucette was escorted through the airport, he passed the news crew who were taping the scene. He walked past Plauché, who then turned around and just fired his gun right into the right side of Doucette's head at close range. All of this was caught on camera.
I know. I watched it.
Yeah.
Whenever I was 13 or 14.
Very
What?
surprising that they caught that on camera, but they did. Doucette fell to the floor, bleeding from a wound near his right ear.
Oh yeah, that camera just goes whoop.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where like, oh no, like nowadays they try to like turn it away. This is like zoomed in, and you just see the guy's eyes are blank and blood just out of his head.
Yeah. So Plauché placed the telephone receiver down before a police officer restrained him and removed the gun from his hand as the other attended to Doucette. The officers who grabbed hold of Plauché recognized him. They kept him pinned against a bank of telephones. Doucette fell into a coma and died the next day. Boo freaking who. Plauché was initially charged with second-degree murder, but agreed to a plea bargain in which he pleaded no contest to manslaughter. He was sentenced to 7 years suspended sentence with 5 years probation and 300 hours of community service, which he completed by 1989.
I'm guessing he did a bench trial, and well, he didn't even do a bench trial because he pled guilty. He did a plea bargain. Okay.
Yeah, there was no trial, but like if he went to a jury trial, it'd have been very interesting to see if they would have found him not guilty.
I have a feeling it'd be like some of these other cases that you might be talking about later. If I suspect that you might be using a couple out of Texas that I'm aware of.
Maybe. Did people secretly or not so secretly cheer? Yeah, they did. When asked about it later, Plauché said he had no regrets, and frankly, neither did America, because sometimes the legal system takes too long, and a swift punch, or in this case, a bullet, sends a message a lot faster.
I've always been on board with that guy, with the dad there, because they knew it. It wasn't one of those things. It wasn't some Salem witch trial thing. God ran off with this kid, did bad stuff. Yeah, you put a bullet in his head. Damn the consequences.
Yeah, whatever you can do to me is worth it, considering what you just did to my kid. So, whatever you're about to do to me, I can take it. I knew the repercussions, and I chose to do this anyway. Oh, man, I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine.
Wow. That's real deep, Jason. Do you have more thoughts? That's just wow.
You never. I mean, you always want to judge the father, like, oh no, I would never do that. But you don't know how you would act if that was your kid.
I've never. Now that could be because we live down here. But I've never heard anybody say, "Oh, he shouldn't have done that." Which I imagine you'd probably hear that somewhere in like California or up north. No offense to our California listeners. God, we got so many of them. It really freaks me out. It's like, why is it most of our listeners are in California and Canada when we kind of poke fun at both of them? But, all right.
I don't know, but keep listening. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
All right. Next person was Kalinka Bamberski, age 14, was attending a French boarding school in Germany in 1982.
Okay.
She spent the summer at the home of her mother and her stepfather, Dieter Krombach. Krombach? We're calling Dieter.
I want to just do the best you can. The last episode we did, I found out afterwards that I was pronouncing like one of the words that I said over and over and over wrong. So, for those of you who want to hear me mispronounce phthalates, go back and listen to the episode that we had before this one.
Well, I try to get on Google or something to see how I pronounce these to just make sure I'm not doing it right or doing it wrong. But yeah, Kromback. He's from Germany, and he was a former physician. He also had a background that I will not go too deep on. Just know Kromback was investigated for the death of his first wife, allegedly with some form of injection, like he gave her some sort of shot and it killed her.
He sounds like a great guy.
And moving on to Kalinka's case, Kromback stated that on the evening of July 9th, 1982, right after dinner, he injected her with a cobalt iron preparation that he liked to use on several family members and friends. Initially, he said it was intended to aid in tanning. Tanning, I guess, was a big deal in 1982. I don't know. Later, he contradicted himself and claimed that it was intended to treat anemia, which are totally two different things.
And I don't think cobalt's what your blood needs when you're anemic. It's typically iron. It's not it's not just like, oh, just stick a metal in there. You're good.
He said that he told her to switch off the light at midnight and then found her dead in her room the next morning. He administered various injections intended to revive her, and he then called emergency services. He later said that he also had given her a sleeping pill that night. So he just keeps adding on to his story.
She's full of drugs because I was trying to help.
Yeah.
Duh.
And with him giving her a sleeping pill, she probably didn't feel anything. Yeah. Unfortunately. The autopsy conducted 2 days later could not establish a cause of death. Among the findings were aspirated stomach contents in the airway and lungs.
Okay, so she vomited in her sleep.
Undigested contents in the stomach, several injection marks, a superficial vaginal tear, judged to have occurred after death, fresh bloody stains around the genitals, and a whitish substance in the vagina. The substance, for whatever reason, was not tested. And here's the weird part.
That's not very efficient, Germany.
No, but for whatever reason, the genitals were removed and have been missing ever since.
All right. Well, first, it's vaginal, not vaginal.
Well, whatever.
Just
that
saying,
area was removed. I don't.
Yeah. The second that I don't think that's a standard autopsy procedure. It's like I don't think they're just like, hey, cut the cooter out. Nobody does that. Yeah, that's weird. I'm guessing he might have been buddies with somebody. Is this another one of those creepy corners that I keep? Well,
it could have been, yeah.
Hint, another one of those is coming. Anyway,
the first one was great. It gets even weirder. The prosecutor declined to open a case. Once Gary Bamberski, Kalinka's biological father, had obtained a copy of the autopsy report, he pressed for another investigation. Additional investigations were ordered in Germany and found that the cobalt iron injection must have happened very close to Kalinka's death, and that cobalt iron is a dangerous drug that could cause an adverse reaction. But he would do so immediately after injection, not several hours later. The undigested stomach contents pointed to a death soon after a meal. The aspirated stomach contents in the lungs pointed to a death during coma or anesthesia.
Yeah.
The expert concluded that the timeline given by Kromback was not convincing, and it was more likely that an injection right after dinner had caused circulatory failure, unconsciousness, vomiting, and death. We go on.
So what did the officials do with this information?
Oh, we go deeper. We go deeper. This is a crazy ass story. In 1983, Gary Plauché, the biological father, distributed leaflets in Germany where Kromback was from, accusing Kromback of the rape, and murder of his daughter. Kromback sued for defamation. This scumbag sued for defamation and actually won.
All right. Hold on. Look, I know we got I know we got a few listeners in Germany, so please don't take offense to this, but there's a time whenever you got to nut up a bit. Um, I don't know if it's maybe it's because Europe's Europe and they've always just kind of done the European way.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm here and somebody does something like that and my kid's dead and all the fingers are pointed at this one dude, but the medical examiner, coroner, or whoever cut out my kid's junk to hide it, and then the investigator doesn't want to do anything about it. I'm digging 3 holes. There are 3 people that are going to die, not
Yeah.
just the one. I'll get the one for sure. He's going to go the worst. That one's going to be slow and painful. But
Mm-hmm.
the other 2, yeah, they're going to be put on display because that's the solution. I mean, I'm sorry. In that situation, that's the solution. I mean, if you don't agree with their policies, then you run elections and you try to get them voted out, whatever the case may be. My kid's dead because of that guy, and you're covering his ass. I'm taking you all fucking down.
Yeah. This is why parents take it into their own hands because they don't trust the justice system because of shit like this.
But I'm not gonna hand out fucking leaflets. That is such a fucking come on, dude, sack up. It's your fucking kid. And I'd
Yeah.
be like,
It gets better. It gets better.
would you like to have some reading material about my child and their horrible death? Fuck you. No, you cut somebody, stab somebody, shoot somebody, something.
Yeah. Well, it gets better. It gets really, really better.
Okay, good.
The guy who sued for defamation, Kronbach, he won and received a judgment of 500,000 German marks,
Add
which is
that judge to the list.
absolutely, absolutely, which is equal to almost $293,000.
Okay.
Uh, which, of course, Bamberski refused to pay.
Yeah.
Bamberski, refusing to give up, hired well-known German lawyer Rolf Bossi to press for a trial against Kronbach. During this, he also had his daughter's body exhumed in 1985 and examined by French doctors, other than just by the German doctors.
Yeah, he's
The-
like, I'm going to take you somewhere that's
yeah,
not involved in your shenanigans. Yeah.
absolutely. The French doctors stated that the original toxicology reports were poor. Yeah, no shit. And concluded that the injection occurred close to death, not several hours before. Bossi, the lawyer, did his job and got a trial in Germany. The case was heard by the higher regional court in Munich in 1987. It was ruled that there was insufficient evidence to prove that Kronbach's injection negligently or intentionally caused the girl's death.
4 people on the list now.
Absolutely. It
No, wait,
just
no,
keeps
it's
getting
3.
better.
No, 5. 5. It's up to 5 now. Okay.
Everybody's just dropping the ball here. They're just not seeing the bigger picture. I don't know what they're doing. But it gets better. This still did not deter the biological father, Bamberski. He pushed on. Finally, in 1995, 13 years after her death, a trial was finally granted in France. Kronbach was, of course, found guilty and received a sentence of 15 years in prison. However, once again, this verdict was overturned in 2001 because Kronbach was not present at the trial and therefore unable to defend himself.
Yeah, all right. Well, I get that. But I mean, seriously, he wouldn't have had to wait this long and done this much if he just would have killed the motherfucker. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. And not only was he the trial, hang on, and therefore unable to defend himself, this mofo then received compensation again. This time he won 100,000 francs, which is
I need to know this.
$122,000.
Is the girl's mom still with that piece of shit during all this?
I don't know. It
No,
didn't really say much about her, but it was more about the
I know.
the
I mean,
father.
I'm just kind of curious because it'd be like, one, is she standing by that piece of shit? Because
I
if
sure
so,
would hope not.
that's 6 people on the list. But,
To let it
but
all
if
happen,
she did the right thing and like divorced him, it was all like, all right, let's go get this motherfucker together. Oh, hell yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bamberski was a desperate man. He knew the system was failing him. Yeah, no shit. And after a German court declined the French higher-ups' request to extradite Kronbach in 2024, 2004, Bamberski took matters into his own hands.
Finally.
Finally, yes. He decided to pay several men to abduct the scum Kronbach and take him to the French authorities. So in 2009, Kronbach took a beating from three men in his home, was taken from his home in Germany, and driven to France, where he was chained to a fence near the police station or with his hands and feet tied up outside the prosecutor's office. It had conflicting reports on where he was left. Regardless, the deed was to get him from Germany to France. Job done. Side note, they beat the holy shit out of him first, fracturing his skull. Gotta get those licks in, I guess.
I guess. I mean, I don't really care for the European court system. I mean, they're a little limp-wristed whenever it comes to punishments. I mean, you're talking about a girl that's sexually assaulted and murdered, and they're like 15 years. This is serious here. So I would have paid maybe the same guys if they were down, but it'd be like, I want you to treat him like whatever ex-girlfriend you're the maddest at, and I want you to hate fuck him before you start cutting his fingers and toes off, and then eventually maybe kill him. You know.
They could have. It wasn't in the reports that I was reading.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. Yeah, you at least make sure. I mean, if you aren't gonna do it yourself, you get some crazy motherfuckers, and like I said, in that case, you get them to hate fuck every one of his holes, and make some new ones. Hate fuck those too, and then then maybe you turn him into the police where they can get him some medical care. If they just can't find certain body parts to reattach, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, so be it. Well, you got your wish about the hate fucking because Kronbach was imprisoned and trial was set for 2011. With testimonies of several women who came forward stating Kronbach abused them too, the piece of shit was sentenced to 15 years in prison where he'll be greeted with eager inmates.
Maybe not. You don't know. I mean, it's not, can't guarantee that, but still, I mean, like, I love how more people came out and they're like, "Oh yeah, seriously, 15. You're getting all 15 years, young man."
I don't get that part.
No, it's just, I
But he did get out in February of 2020. But good news is he died in September of 2020.
Good.
Yeah, he didn't taste freedom
and
very
nobody missed him.
Nope. Good written, sucker. Man, I was reading that story. I couldn't believe it. Just the way he kept getting away with everything for the most part, and how he was getting paid money.
I think it's one of those moments where the dad needed to sit down and watch like all the Dirty Harry movies, all the Death Wish movies, and have his testosterone level raised from European to 7-year-old American boy. And then by then he might have been, had the gumption enough to take matters in his own hands. No offense, German audience or European audience. I mean, we've got France, Spain, and UK too. I'm just an ignorant, dumb American that just knows that, when somebody does something bad, the only way to stop them is to stop them forever. But okay.
Yeah. The death penalty is there to deter.
No.
If it was done in the correct way.
No, I don't want it to be I mean, my thing is, I don't believe anything's a deterrent. If people are not afraid of prison, they're not afraid of death. They're the ones that are willing to commit those crimes are not afraid of them. I don't care about them being afraid of the punishment. I just want it to actually do something. Death penalty is the only one that actually accomplishes something in which that person is never going to commit a crime ever again. Period. I mean, because like you give somebody life prison, they could still commit crimes in there. They could still hurt people if that's what they really want to do. It's just other inmates.
Yeah, they'll just add on to their life sentence. How stupid is that?
Now, granted, I've said this before. My one be for the death penalty is I don't trust our justice system, which that kind of fucking sucks as it is. But at the same time, you have overwhelming evidence. It's right there, and you're going to come at it with just that little, you stop that.
Here's
Now you think
15
about
little
what
years.
you did, and we're going to close you in this room, and we're going to feed you, and then eventually we'll let you go, and that'll show you. It's like, no, that's no.
Yeah, I didn't think that 15 years was very long, considering how many women came forward and
That's a
not.
long time in European years. I mean, it always cracks me up. But like whenever I'll sit there and with all my true crime stuff, and I'll come across like somebody in the UK, and they have had some horrible murderers there, and they're like, well, they've sent them to prison for life with a minimum of 25 years. I mean, there's a few of them that'll get a whole life sentence. It's very rare that they do that in like Europe and Australia and stuff like that. But I mean, there are some whenever it's really bad, well, they will, but not enough. I mean, they've had some awful criminals. I don't follow any German true crime, and I'm certain y'all have y'all's share of awful people too. So,
Mhm.
um,
We
here
all
was
do.
one, and y'all didn't do anything about it. So, shame on you, Germany.
Yeah, you let him go
It is that
unpunished
is
for
like
10 plus years.
maybe the fifth worst thing you did in the 20th century.
What was the first?
I'm not saying.
Oh. All right, I'm going to end on this topic here. We have all heard about parents stealing food to provide for their hungry families. People have been committing food related crimes for centuries. I have found plenty of stories that fall into this category. Not going to go over them all, but I am going to go over what these stories through time has done. For example, in 2016, an Italian court ruled that stealing small amounts of food to avoid starvation isn't a crime. The court was deciding on a 2011 case involving a homeless man who had been caught stealing a sausage and cheese from a supermarket. The man put the stolen items worth less than $5 under his jacket before paying for breadsticks. He was arrested, convicted, and given a 6-month jail sentence for something that was under $5.
That was 6 months that he was going to get 3 square meals a day, though.
True, very true. The High Court overturned that decision because the man had an immediate and essential need for nourishment.
They're like, we don't want to take care of your ass. You get out there and you steal as little food as possible.
Pretty much. Here locally, the Dallas County DA's office will not prosecute cases proven to be food theft for necessity if less than $750. Quote,
Damn.
I know it's
But
quite
are
a
you
bit.
just stealing like a half a cow?
Just on all that brisket, all that meat. This is a quote from the district attorney. Criminalizing poverty is counterproductive for our community's health and safety. But I
I
have
will agree
to,
with that.
I agree with that.
I think the threshold's a little high.
Do you remember?
$750 is too high.
That's yeah, that's a huge grocery bill if you're doing that. But do you remember when they were giving tickets out to the homeless people, saying
Oh,
y'all
for
can't?
panhandling.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was back whenever Lauren Miller was mayor of Dallas, and yeah, they were giving out tickets for panhandling, and it also affected the fire department, who always did their fundraiser for
with a boot. Yeah,
yeah, fill the boot. I think it was for muscular dystrophy or cerebral palsy, one of those,
yeah.
and they couldn't do it anymore because it was illegal because it was panhandling.
So stupid. But that goes right back to that quote about criminalizing poverty. You're giving somebody a ticket who's asking for money. You really think that ticket's going to get paid?
I think like it's one of those things that one of the things that really bothers me is you have a lot of restaurants and stuff like that that throw out and grocery stores throw an ungodly amounts of food
Oh yeah, I
every
have.
day in the dumpster and they lock it up.
Yeah,
You know, they don't
it's
want
in the
anybody
trash.
going in there digging it. They don't want anybody taking it. And that's just I mean, I'm sorry. There needs to be some sort of tax incentive for grocery stores to donate what is sold by the sell by date
I
because
agree. It's so much food. So much food gets wasted.
I mean and I mean it wouldn't really work for food banks because food banks are a lot like grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever people go to a food bank, it's not like they just go there and somebody, with their hat in their hand, somebody hands them a bag of food. No, they typically have like some sort of vouchers or whatever, and they go through like they would shopping.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that a lot of them are trying to do things nowadays, help people retain their dignity. So you couldn't really do that. I don't really want to give food bank unless it's actually going to be good for like another month or so. Yeah, then do it to a food bank. But like there are probably a bunch of homeless shelters, churches, and things like that could make do a lot of good with that food.
Yeah.
And everybody would just rather throw it away because they're just like it's not cost effective to do anything with it. So it's kind of fucked up.
I have seen some restaurants have started putting out pay what you can or free meal programs. Just choose your prepaid meal. Usually have a bunch of receipts just stuck up on a bulletin board. You choose your prepaid meal. You take it up to the cash register and say, this meal's already bought. This is what I want, and you'll get food that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that people could do. I mean, my thing is, and this is where it gets difficult, is like one, I've had my own interactions with the homeless, and quite frankly, a lot of the ones in Dallas are assholes.
Yeah,
They are
absolutely.
Assholes.
We all have
where
our
I'm
stories
like,
on that.
Fuck you. I don't want to help you. Whatever.
Yeah, you done ruined the mood I was trying to do to helping you by taking it a little too far.
Yeah. God, I used to love when they'd be like, "You gave me change," and be like, "No, well, we can go to an ATM." No, motherfucker.
That's not change.
I had one trying to pull that shit. I was like, "I will buy you a slice of pizza if you can just leave me the fuck alone." But like in California, like anytime I go there now, like whenever I was in Southern California, I mean, it is awful right now, and there's not I mean, I'm not handing out anything to anybody there because you would be swarmed like seagulls at the beach.
I'm about to say the same thing.
Of course, at the same time, I also have a hard time feeling bad for California. No offense, Californians that listen, but y'all keep electing people that keep making the same bad decisions and making them worse. And then you're like, I don't understand how this keeps happening. It's like, but I put in the guy that was friends with the last guy that did it, and it just got worse. Oh, all right, stop.
Yeah, change it up. Change it up.
No, I mean, because like right now, I am fucking furious with a lot of the Texas government right now. A ton of it. They are patting themselves on the back for so many things, so many stupid laws that are helping nobody right now.
Yeah, they're supposed to be legal, making it illegal for all the vape shops to have the different THCs,
which is going to cause a lot of businesses to close down.
Yeah.
So they're creating laws that are harming businesses. They are preventing. They're causing the best basketball player to get traded away.
Still too soon.
Stuff.
I can't even look at him in a Laker uniform.
There's a lot that they're doing, and I hate it. And it's all because they're doing what the money tells them to do. And so Greg Abbott and all you other fucknuts that are in charge, fuck you, you suck.
Yeah. See the legislating morality episode. Yeah. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, if my wife makes me vote again, I'm not voting for those assholes.
No, I want to change too. I agree. I don't have a problem with Greg Abbott, but he's a part of all.
I got a problem with him.
He's all the part of all the problem.
Yeah, they're all part of it. They're this. Yeah, fuck them. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, at the end of
I think that's the most political I've ever been on this show. Oops.
Well, we're in Texas. We have an opinion on it, so we can say it.
I mean, yeah, it's just funny because the 6 or 7 Texas people that watch it be like, "Oh, Daryl, you son of a bitch! I hate you."
I'm sure they all feel the same way.
I doubt it.
Their porn was taken away from them too.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Well, at the end of the day, laws exist for a reason. However, there will be times where the law doesn't matter. It is secondary to protecting and providing for your child. So the next time you hear about a crime committed by a parent, cut them some slack until you know the whole story. They just might be doing right by doing wrong. Well, that will wrap up this episode. So make sure to check back next week when Daryl whips up another topic that made him say, "Wait, what?" We'll check y'all later.
Bye. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Waywut. This show's available on YouTube, Good Pods, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. We love to hear from you. Please comment on what you just listened to, pass along episode ideas, or just talk to us at Waywut Podcast in our Facebook group or on TikTok, Instagram, or X. Again, we really appreciate you joining us. Come back again to hear about some stuff that will make you say, "Wait, what?"